Okay, we're live again. Bear with me, guys. This was my second attempt to try and get this stream loaded because I tried prior and it didn't work. Hopefully, this time it comes up. I don't want to have any sort. Okay. Um. Yep, I'm good. All right. Hey, guys. Welcome to the second. Well, the first attempt. Well, second attempt, but we're here now. Welcome to the stream. I hope you guys are doing well. Oh, come on! Don't tell me. I really wish I know this was live. Okay, we've got a person. Is that me? Really? Okay, we're live. Thank you. No, no, give me because I'm having wishy-washy stuff with StreamYard recently, but we're live now, so that's good. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the stream. I'm gonna mute myself on that one, so there we go. Hopefully, you guys are doing well. This, of course, is the video where I will be ranking, as the title says, all 180 books. I have messaged my dear friends Jack and Adam, respectively, to let them know that I was going to tell them when the stream starts. So hopefully they will be around to at least witness this video. And if they make it halfway through, they're going to have to watch all the way through again when that happens. So best you can do what you get. Right then. So, with that being said, though, hopefully you guys will enjoy it. And that being said, we've got 180 books to get to, a lot to go, so I'm probably going to have to go brief for each analysis portion. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm not going to go by numbers because I'll probably lose my place. I'm pretty much happy with where I got everything. And it did take a while to figure out where I was going to go with things, but I have it all sorted. I would like to show if I can. You've got like several piles here of books. Like this is the first one. Hopefully, okay. There's the first one, and it goes like we got like that 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 piles of books here. So we've got 8 piles of books, and I've separated it to each chunk from like the worst category and going on to the best. So we'll see how it goes. I will be keeping an eye on the comments just in case Jack and Adam do pop on by. So without further ado, this is it. I know this has been a ranking that probably a lot of the guys may have asked for a while, but I'm finally doing it. It is here. It is ranking all the books of Beast Quest so far. And I will probably not be doing this for a long time of this, because at this point there's 180 books, technically 181 with the Tornado one. I was told about the special, for World Book Day special. I don't have that one, unfortunately. So, granted, some say it's not canon, debatable, but I don't have it, and I'm just gonna go with what I've got. So we start off with our first book. At the last spot of Beast Quest is I didn't think of this through. What am I gonna do with all these books? Pile them somewhere. We'll figure it out as we go. But at the bottom spot of Beast Quest, the worst book of all time to me is Macroxa. There we go. Macroxa, the Tunneling Terror. I do like this series. I do. But unfortunately, this is not the book for me. It is not. Why? You have a beast. Our hero runs away due to some contrived reasons. And I'm not really a fan of that side of method of things. Like, oh, let's find a way to get out of this. Let's find a way to get out of this. I would prefer if the hero actually fought. And I'm sure some people are going to give me credit, say, oh, well, there were times in Beast Quest where Tom did this and this. And I get that, but not for the entire book it was. And I felt that there were times he did stand his ground and, do stuff. So I think that is a good allegation of things. But it is what it is. I do wonder sometimes if characters think things through, per se. It's hard to say. But Macroxa, it's all right. It makes a good place where it stands, but I'm not going to judge it too harshly. It is Beast Quest. I still enjoy it, but I would appreciate a bit more better from it. So that's where it's going to be. So Macroxa, you're the worst book of Beast Quest to me. Everything else is above you, but you're there, so you're fine. Well, I can't say you're fine. You're not. I was expecting a lot more from you. At the second bottom of the list, oh god, I should probably do it like that when I pile it up and move on to the next stack. Yeah. So number 2 at the bottom is you can see right here. It's Magruor. I'm not really a fan of this book, primarily because it's not about Tom, and that's enough thing saying about New Protectors. That's why I'm not really a fan of that. I prefer if the main characters stuck around and it was all that. So the fact we're swapping out for something else is not really my saving grace, but is what it is. There are some benefits about this book, about how the golden armor works and how it transfers and all that. But I think the disappointment factors and the fact that it's just essentially an ogre with 4 limbs, it's not enough to like win me over there. Hello, Gameran Toy. Thank you for stopping by. Appreciate it. So that's where that one is. So Magruor. It's all right. It's not like my go-to read though. So it is at the second bottom of the spot of the list. And number 3 at the bottom of this list is a book that Adam would be happy to see, Claw the Giant Monkey. I have issues with this book, as does Adam, associating with the golden armor that he shouldn't be wearing this. But at the same time, you could argue, yeah, he can wear it, but he can't use its power. Series 2 is a great series. I do love it, but it does have its problems, and this is one of the big boys, unfortunately. Still, I can understand where Adam's coming from. It is kind of a letdown, has kind of a pathetic defeat. It's part of a great series, but it is kind of a weak crutch. And following on that weak crutch is another from Series 2, Vipero the Snake Man. Fight was very short. I like the concept of the design of Vipero, but that's as far as it was going to get. So, Vipero, you're there. I like your series. I like the atmosphere that you presented, but when you got to the fight, you ended pretty quick. So, that's why it's going where it is. Next on the list is a book from a series that some would debate I'm fond of. That would be Xeric the Bone Cruncher. Cruncher? Yeah, Cruncher. I'm not a fan of this book because the beast is mobile, and that goes right to Tree Beasts, kind of, in a way. So we'll get to those at some point on this list. I don't know exactly where, because I put them in piles, but we'll see where he comes up. So, it's what it is. Xeric has a redeeming quality with. I like that that Tom does go inside him. So the beast can't move. They do try to do some. They try to squirm their way around it, but some things are unavoidable. So Xeric is above Vipero, and that's where I'm leaving it. And above Xeric himself is Arcta the Mountain Giant. So I think this is a good standout where I put Arcta the Mountain Giant, considering the nostalgia of Series 1. Boosted its reputation up, not too far, but I think in a servable place. The beast fight is kind of sad. He doesn't really do anything because the beast is left in a position where, well, he does try to do things at first, but as soon as he has his stumble, all Tom has to do is blind him, and then boom, it's over. So fight-wise, beast perspective, not the best. Story-wise, it's kind of ruined by the beast fight as well. But I think leaving it the nostalgia of series. The nostalgia of Series 1 puts it as far as you can, so I think Arcta is fine where it is. Above that, we have, oh god. Oh, it's part of that series. Akorta, the All-Seeing Ape, who did fall over in his own book. Not the most saving of graces there. I do like that it's an orangutan, a different type of ape, and the cycloptic eye. Prison Kingdom is not the most memorable series to me, and Akorta wasn't a good start to it, so I think it's generous. I'm putting it as high as it is when I got to that. Above Akorta, we have Sylexa the Stone Cat. I love the Four Masters. There are some benefits to it, but Sylexa is one of those beasts that is so egotistical and lets the fame power go to her head. Easy could have killed the hero when she had the chance, did not take it. I like cats, so I like the creepy eye design, so there is that benefit. That's why she's placing where she is. So there you go. Above that, we have Tarek the Bloodspike. Yes, it is. Tarek the Bloodspike. I like that it's a humanoid cactus, kinda, per se, for the uniqueness. At the same time, it's not the most... it's just there to be a muscle threat beast that Tom Bellizzi fight per day. The series itself, Series 11, is arguably one of my weakest series ever, so that kind of also weakens its point much. So, sorry, Tarek, you're going where you are. At least I put you above Sylexa, so you have that benefit, so you got that something. And above Tarek, we have Devora the Death Fish. I like the concept of a fish beast. That's something we haven't seen majority, apart from Solak in a way, kind of, because I've heard from sources that sharks are associated to fish, same species in a way. You debate. I like that it has multiple eyes. I like that it can form up to something. You form up to one big fish, like I think it's in Pokemon. It is. And the series it's part of is a great one. So with Gargantua as the big villain, so there are some, there are some saving graces to it. So I was generous to put it as high as I could. Above that, we have Querzal, the swamp monster. Part of the great series 23. Love that series. It does go into a bit of a fetch quest kind of, well, when I say fetch quest, more like a Saturday morning adventure to find out. But there are elements of each book that I believe show plot points of the twist of what's to come. And I do like the concept of Tree Beast in a way where like you try and have this creative imagery with that type of character. So there is that going for it. They're just not well executed. So Querzal, you're lucky you got where you are. Above, and speaking of that, Captiva follows right after, which means you can guess who's next. So, awesomeness there. I wouldn't say awesomeness per se, I take that back, but it is part of a mediocre series, I find. New Protectors is not the greatest thing in the world for me. So, yeah. I do like the concept. It is a better designed beast compared to Querzal, so that's why it's above that beast. So that's why I put Captiva. And of course, we have the original Tree Beast, Terra. Yeah, Terra. I like the story is much better compared to its two ones prior. Do I want to agree with that? I'm going back and forth with 23 in this series, which is better. But I feel like I like the concept of this. I guess because I'm more familiar with this Tree Beast, because of it's more the old one, the traditional one. So I like that it's also got the grasping hands. It's kind of more of a monstrous face. So there are some plus about it. And the fact that one of the ingredients is in the tree as well raises the stakes there. So the fight has to be in the tree. So it's a more of a better executed beast with why things are the way they are. Above Terra, we have Elko. Elko is another good beast. I keep saying good, but I don't want to say good. So when I say good, it's like very poor good. It is part of one of the weakest series for me. Its fight, from what I remember, was located in a water pool, and it felt like it was just lashing its tentacles and got taken down pretty quick because it's the first of that series, and when you're the first book, you get taken out pretty quick to establish the plot. But I think it should be grateful that I was able to at least push it up as far as I could. So, am I happy with my decision? I would say I am, because Tree Beasts don't have much maneuverability. Yeah, same with Elko. Well, at least Elko puts some trying in there, at least. And above Elko, we have Garrox, another tentacle type creature. It's more able to maneuver itself against the New Protectors. So there you go. I'd like that it's part of a series that has up. To be fair, I'm looking at back here. All of the beasts associated with this series are way better, in my opinion. They have way better respect. You have this kind of weak baggage, and I think it's fortunate. The thing it has above Elko is that it is more maneuverable from what I gathered. So that puts it above it. Story-wise, I'll read that you can nod to. Yeah, it's all right. Next up, we have, surprise you're here, but here you are, Muro, the rat monster. Remember it from my school days, and I started reading it, so it puts it as best as you can. I do like the creepy atmosphere you have with the rat going through like the fields and all that, like the farmer fields. So there is some creepy atmosphere they try to pull off. It isn't, but at the end of the day, it is still a rat beast. He is still gonna go down pretty easy, and I feel like he did go that way. So there are some positives, but putting it as best as I can, you're there. Again, I'm not going to go with numbers by this because I'll probably lose my place, and I don't want to screw it up, of course. Above Muro, we have Tigron, the Jungle Master. This thing I have issues with, like from my retrospective, from my memory. This thing was at one point immune to spears, and it wasn't. So when it has inconsistencies, it does hold it back. The design is a feral monkey. It's all right. It's a bit more vicious looking. But at the same time, it kind of had a weak. It also kind of had a weak death by falling off a tree, kind of. So part of the series that is kind of meh. It's not like the best series ever. So I'm happy where I put Tychron. Next up, we have Rashik the Cave Troll. It's all right. I think the concept of it turning stuff to stone boosts it up, but it does have a kind of an easy video game weakness. It is part of Series 4, which is a series that is more readable than the one with Tychron in it, of course. I think it's 15. No, it's 14. So you could debate if it's a more readable series there, per se. So there are benefits. And like I said, the concept of it's nice that Tom gets to fight a troll and he gets to it's a beast that can actually do something. It's just that it wasn't as well executed as it could have been. Above Rashik, we get onto. I think we're slowly getting to beasts I care about. We're slowly getting there. Hecton the Body Snatcher. I like that it's an amalgamation of deceased creatures all thrown together. It is part of Series 8, a series that is trying to win me over. It is. And I feel like there are some issues I have with Series 8, but there are some positives too. The creepy atmosphere is also a plus. And I like that, Tom has to try and make some effort against this creature. He does get a bit of struggles, but he's able to turn the tide. So there are some good stuff in it. Next up, we have... Oh, hi, Jay. Next up on the list is Ronak, the Toxic Terror, insert Scooby-Doo reference, joke. I like the concept of it being a ram that can... The concept of it, of course, being a ram that can spread toxic goo around is kind of cool. It's part of a mediocre series, but I think it's trying, and I appreciate that. The design is also pretty, very monstrous in a way, so I appreciate the fear factor plus. I'm happy I put it above Hecton, because Hecton did find a bit restrictive of what it was doing. Adam, you are very lucky I put this beast this high, but here it is, Serpio, Slithering Shadow. Yeah, this is the end of my first category of books too, of the first chunk. So, putting up this high, respect to what it is one of the tougher beasts that Kensa has. Did take a while to take down. It did feel like kind of like one of those death machine weapon type beasts. I'm not going to bring up the Death and Battle of the Beast about you-know-who, for obvious reasons. But I think this is where Kensa was actually making some accomplishments. So that's that one done. Hopefully my pile isn't full. I'll be embarrassed. Well, you're not going to see it, but I'll be still embarrassed regardless. Next on the list, we have the second pile of books. I'm going to hope this doesn't fall over, so we'll move along. This is pile 2. Let me look at this. Okay. I'm happy where this is. Yeah, I know that so everything's in the order I need it to be. So up next is, of course, Targaro, the Arctic Menace. This is the beast's defeat is kind of pathetic. I do remember it more than I do Serpio, and I like the fight in the snow. It's kind of like a goofy book, but it's like harmless fluff to me. So it's more like if I want like a little quiet read, it's not gonna bother me. The beast's death is sometimes a beast's pathetic death can humor me in a way if it's funny, and I think this is funny. So, and it is part of Series 13, which is arguably one of the better series. So there's that plus to it as well. So that's not like the worst thing ever. I would put it above. I'm happy where I put it. Right. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, we'll try that. Right, so we've got that sorted. Now we just got to move along to the next book on our list. I don't know how long this video is going to be, but I imagine we'll be here a while because we still have a bunch of us facts to get through. Above Targaro, we have Equinus, the Spirit Horse, part of Series 4. I like the concept of this one as well. That Thomas to fight a centaurus beast that can split itself. The fact you've got, and there is a bit more development with each book involving Taladon, so there is that plus going for it as well. I like that it's giving Tom a challenge. It is trying to give Tom a challenge, so there is that benefit. Moving on, we have, of course, Brutus, the Hound of Horror, part of series 11, The New Age. It's one of the more. It's a piece that I find it is trying to do some good. It's not as well executed as its counterpart, Carnivora, which will later on down the road or somewhere in that ranking. But I think it is trying to at least prove a threat compared to its other ones. So, yeah, I'm happy where I put it. I'm happy I put it above Scorpio. So, it's a piece that I can have more respect for. And I think I'm happy where I placed it. Surprising I put it this high. Komodo, the Lizard King. Another nostalgic book to me. Its death is, of course, kind of, yeah. But I think what helps it is that it does introduce Series 6, another great series, followed Series 5, awesome. Something I was looking forward to. Story does boost it up, so that's why it's where it is. I wanted to go higher, but I was torn between books. Still, I'm happy where I put it, Komodo. Your death is kind of pathetic, but you did introduce a great series, and that will not be forgotten. Next up, we have, really? Okay. Greymon. Once again, another pathetic death, but introduced a really great series. Stakes pretty high. Each piece killed puts the villain Malville closer and closer to his plan. The stakes are high as they are, and it's a really great introduction to the series, despite the piece failed attempt. So I'm happy where I put Greymon. Next up is Canis the Shadowhound. Kind of finale fight to the end of another series. The beasts are there. I went over Ronak. I like that the fact the beast can go through walls and it does test one of Tom's abilities. You don't normally see his splitting power, the shadow power. He separates his shadow. So there is that concept going on for it. Zheng is introduced as the villain there. I think by the end of the book. I could be remember. I forgot if he was revealed at the end or something. But regardless, where it was taking place near the castle and all that, it was a different setup because you don't normally see the fight take place in a public location or like a speech event. So I think that was a nice change to it. That's what I remembered from this book. So I like the concepts there. And most of it is based on concepts that are pushing me forward. The beast does have a feral design as well, I will admit that. Pressing on above Canis is Drogan, the Jungle Menace. Boosted up by Battle of the Beast. Thank you, Adam, for doing a good job of that. I know that Jack has kind of his wishy-washiness with this beast, but I think Battle of the Beast-wise, Adam did a good job. The book itself is alright. It's part of the series of Trial of Heroes, which, of course, me and Jack are big fans of, and we have respect for, so there is that. The fact that you have to have Amelia and Tom go at each other to beat this guy. But the design of the beast is also intimidating. I like that concept. The Wolverine claws are a nice touch, so there are benefits to like about this one as well. Next up is Kragos on Kildor. I like this book, and yes, I have ranted on it in the past in prior videos. But what I do, whilst the negatives, of course, have been established about the beast, doesn't seem to do much per se, and kind of gets being kind of anticlimactic in my memory. But I like the concept and the story involving Taladon involved, and that Tom and Taladon get to bond more in different books. So there is that. From what I remember, Taladon is in this book. If I'm wrong, feel free to correct me, but I remembered he was. Because this is when he was restored, I imagine. Yeah, it would have to be, because when he got the medallion restored, the powers were transferred. So yeah, I believe Taladon is in this. So I'm going to say he is. If he isn't, then let me wishy-washy, but I'm still happy about this. Where it stands. I like the design of the beast with a stag and a deer mused together. So there are some benefits that I'm content with. And I'm happy that I placed it still, and I wouldn't change my decision at all. Above Kragos and Kildor is Kamar, the Faceless Beast. The concept of the creepy atmosphere of the building to the cave and the final fight with the disturbing-looking humanoid spider hybrid creature is intriguing. The finale of the Dark Tower isn't the best or saving of graces, but at least it does wrap it up, even if it doesn't feel like the Darkest Hour. So happy where I'm putting it. Next up, we have Nanook, the Snow Monster. I do enjoy this. Like, enjoying in quotation, Series 1 is awesome. It is a better defeat to me than Van Arctor. I could be wrong. I forget which one it is. Nanook is the one. I think Nanook is the one where Elena gets trapped in the cave. And Arctor is the one where it wasn't. I could be wrong, but I still want to put Nanook above this because the beast actually tries. Well, the beast has no excuse to sort of put up a good fight, but at least it wasn't in a position where it was dangling. At least it was able to move and do stuff. And I'm putting it up as high for sake of nostalgia. So I'm still happy with my decision. Above, yeah, I'm happy with that. Yeah. Above that, we have Ursus, the Clawed Raw, introducing Series 9, one of the best series, and one of the better series. What can I go with this? The story is great. The villain, weak on power, awesome. The fact they have to take a stairs underground to go there. The beast, not the best thing in the world, but we'll get to better ones as we go. So, good statements, good things for it. The beast is also intimidating. It's a nice design for the bear. And I think overall that we do see Petra's turn as the series progresses. So the elements are all in play for a series that will become great. Above that is Minos the Demon Bull, the follow-up to that book. This is more of my issue with Koraka than it was before, so I'm blaming a bit more on Minos because they point to respect in this. It is essentially like a rodeo fight, but it is more of a tussle compared to its counterpart, and the story progression is nice. Above that book, we have Torno the Hurricane Dragon. While I have issues with the beast going on the tree, it still has a unique power, and a dragon is always a good beast to fight. It isn't well executed, but I do like the concept of the wind dragon, and I do like that. Tom is of course taking another step closer in the quest of Series 8. So that's as best as I can give it for you. Next up, we have Diprox the Buzzing Terror, the finale of the Prison Kingdom. Of the obvious twist, I believe, is revealed in this. It essentially is used as a transport vessel, not the best finale bosses, but I like the design of the beast. And the finale of any sort of series is always a plus if it's well executed. It's not the best, but I can always tolerate it for what it has given us. Glaki, Spear of the Depths, is like one of those typical adventures of Beast Quest. There's not much to remember about it per se, but I would put it above the finale, considering at least the beast did more destruction. It at least did more at all compared to its finale. Above that book, we have Anaret, the first beast of Beast Quest. I do like the concept of it. It can be controlled by a mask, and it is kind of archery from what I've heard. The design is kind of a bit ferocious. It does go kind of easy though, but I will give it points where it has stood. Because if a beast is an interesting concept, it can win me over. Above that, we have Raptex, the Sky Hunter. I do admit this is a better Griffin design, but I don't think it is the better Griffin book. So obviously you can expect Vigarash somewhere higher. A better design compared to Beast before it. And I think it does still prove an aviation fight well for what Tom has given. So I'm happy with where it came. Part of the Gargantua arc is always a plus where it stands. So as you further progress through it, a good position, I find. Hello, Zainara. Part of the newest series. Of course, the obvious reason why it doesn't go any higher is because of the inconsistencies of its gender. Cover states its dog. Inside book goes for more of a cat-tiger vibe. I like its creepy atmosphere. I like it shows up. It does prove a challenge for Tom, but the nitpicks do kind of ruin it. But I think putting it where it can is as good as it will get. I shouldn't give myself too much dread because I'm doing pretty well, I would say, because I've got a lot to go. Styx. I like the alligator fight or crocodile fight, reptile, call it you will. but I still like how it. Oh, it's a deadly alligator. There you go. So, the alligator beasts have a special place. It is a basic fight, but I do like the concept, and maybe because I'm putting it a bit higher than I normally would, because catches in it, and that's always a plus for me. Part of a mediocre series, but the character wins me over. The beast is basic, but it does have some impact. From what I remember, I like design too. It's pretty interesting. It's simple but effective. Now we have Tauron. While Series 11 is arguably one of the worst series ever, the finale, at least this beast was the closest to succeeding, and it did go for the pool. It is kind of a unique design of a centaur with a bunch of random junk thrown on it, so I do give it points for having a more engaging, tense finale. Torka v Sky Snatcher. The concept of a three-headed bird is a plus. Part of Series 23 also a plus. The fight was not well executed, but it's lucky it got where it was. Linka the Sky Conqueror. No unique design for a creature. It was more of a violent fight compared to the book I just talked about. Part of Series 13 is always a plus. Another good aerial fight. And it was a bit of a more, I remember it being more brutal compared to Torka. So it's that. And here you are, Koraka, the Winged Assassin. What changed my mind about this was, bear in mind, I haven't reread it, but I think it's more like I felt more sorry for the character to turn to the dark side type of deal, and that's sympathetic points is always a plus. The fight could have been done better, but I will give it points for the sympathetic point, and it is part of Series 9, another good series. But design is a bit more ferocious looking, so I'll get points for intimidation factor as well. But yeah, I think the why I put it above Linka is because of the sympathetic points. Menox v Saber-Toothed Terror. Part of Series 22, one of the better series of Beast Quest. So it's mainly up at this high for story points per se. I don't know if, bear in mind, I don't know if Adam and Jack are in here yet. Hi, Jay, thank you for that. But if they do show up, hopefully they can leave a comment to let me know about here. I would appreciate it. But I'm going through so far. So yeah, once again, this is where it is because of the story mainly. The fight, and it's kind of, while the fight isn't the best, I do like the fight is in a factory per se and all that. Hi, Scorpion. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate the comment. And yeah, villain being Rhea is always a plus. This piece I can't never make out what it is per se, but it looks kind of like it's some sort of rat creature per se. I can't exactly name exactly what it is, or some sort of mammal. I wish it did. But I do like the Series 22. Oh, it's Jack. Okay, Jack's here, so thank you. Jack, I don't know when you stopped on by to this video, if you were able to watch from the start per se, or maybe you caught in halfway through of what was already stated. But regardless, I'm thankful that you showed up. But Menox, I think putting it there is as good as I can get it. So I'm happy with that. At Torka? Okay. Well, I'm assuming if you want to go back and watch what you missed after the stream, feel free. So I'm sure you're all happy I'm still doing this for you. Of course, I'm going brief with each book because there's so many books to get through, but I'm doing the best as I can. I might repeat my words, but I'm doing this, like I said, best I can. And with that, next up is Stealth. Stealth is a good finale for Series 4. I do put it above Menox because I like the sympathetic points for Teledon. And the finale by Stealth is arguably one of the better beasts of that series. So there's that between going for 2. The design is simple for Stealth. And overall, I think when I get to retrospective, I feel like I'm going to enjoy, I might enjoy Series 4 for the sympathetic points as we go. We'll see. But for what we're given, with the Teledon points being a plus and a resolution to that character getting his life back is a big sympathy point. Puts it where it is. Next up, we have, surprisingly, Styro the Snapping Brute. This one is up this high for the level of destruction it did to that lighthouse, essentially. The design, of course, is unique to have a lobster, of course, and we'll get a better one later. And I know this beast is going to get some flack, understandably so, but at least it did a good when a beast does a lot of destruction, that's always a plus for me. Part of not the best series ever, but I'm happy where I've still played it. Next up is another big boss, Velacro. Two-headed beast, always nice to change up. Probably one of the weaker series, but the fact that it's a boss level beast and it is the finale, it is always a plus. Not the best beast in the world, but it does have its moments of awesomeness. If I'm wrong, I believe Jack does love this book more than me per se, because it is his favorite of that series. But some more power to you, Jack, if you like it. I look forward to if you do a retrospective or something like this of it again. But it's up for it is for the concept design and the boss level fight alone. So there you go. Next above that is changes between Styx and Velacro, understandably so. Next for me is Blaze the Ice Dragon. Thanks to Adam for boosting its reputation in Battle of the Beasts. It did surpass Stealth for the higher book for the concept of a dragon that can freeze, and the ghost abilities are also plus. So maybe it's just a bit of me that I'm putting it above Stealth because of Battle of the Beasts. Maybe it could be that. I don't know. But I like the concept of the dragon and the ice breath more than I did the finale stuff. So I'm still happy where I put Blaze. I mean, he kind of deserves a bit of boost considerable. Even though it has nothing to do with the book, a little boost from Battle of the Beasts is always a plus. Why not? Gorog, the Fiery Fiend. Introduction of Gargantua Arc series, we call it, which is also known as the Ghost of Caridon. Creepy concept. The beast with like a Cyclops vision is always a plus, and being a stronger version of a Varkul, I like the concepts when they bring it back. It is kind of have a bulldog vibe to it, so there's a little hints and winks there that, from the beast perspective alone, that push it forward. And then the introduction of the Caridon is also a strong vibe to it. We're almost done the second pile now. Next up, we have Bloodboar. Bloodboar, the Buried Doom. This book, I do like how violent the fight gets from the main villain and the beast alone getting involved. I do wish, my big point is the villain doesn't use all the powers he's stolen from Tom, per se. That's kind of my letdown about it. Grant Sanpei was not the most intelligent character, but he is aware he has these powers. And I would appreciate if he's going to use them. He would try a bit more. The Buried Doom is a intimidating presence. It does take a while to figure out how to beat it. It is kind of like a better version of Tusk, per se. Granted, as you can tell, I didn't believe I've gotten to Tusk, so it's probably going to rank higher, and I'll explain why it is if it does come to that. But regardless, I'm still happy with where I put Bloodboar. It's gotten a bigger reputation than I was expecting when I first do this. Above that, though, is its counterpart, Cronus. It's more intimidating, I find. It feels like, I think because of the issues I have with the Bloodboar, that's why I put this one up as I do. It also has the laser beam eye ability, which is always a plus. The giant vulture, another aerial battle, and the location was kind of unique, so I'm happy where I put it. We're now on to the next pile. Boy. Hello, Real J. I do wonder how the author thinks of these sick-looking beast characters. Well, the author is multiple people. They just gave themselves a name to kind of just in their lives in a way. Next up, we do have Hyrix, the Rock Smasher. I like the concept of a bunch of bandits gaining superpowers. He's not the best per se, but when you have a dumb henchman giving his moment to shine, it's always a plus for that. So, and it does introduce Super, who's a villain I wish would end, but this seems to be not. So, the fact I got as high as it did is saying something. Next on the list is its counterpart, Makoro. Yeah, I like the concept of the Scorpion Man more than I do the Satyr, per se. It is part of a guy who's more cunning and deceptive, so there are those benefits in the fight. Was a bit... I want to say it's debatable which was a better fight, so I go between the two, but I think the points alone that I mentioned put it above Hyrix. So, there you go. Next on the list, we have Kajin, the Beast Catcher. I like the concept of a werewolf that is going to catch beasts, which makes it a bit more interesting. And it is part of the Lightning Beasts, a series of beasts that are more independent, and they're going after the hero for revenge against Taladon, because he did do some dark things back in his day before he got imprisoned into the ghost stuff. So, well, I'm not really a big fan of Darkest Hour. There are some elements that do stand out, and the concept of learning for a beast can earn its push a bit further. Next along, we have Vidra and Crymon, the Twin Beasts. The downside to this book is, unfortunately, that it is essentially escorting these two dragons. It does lead to conflict between the dragons, of course, as expected. Seth being a plus, I believe he's in this. I'm sure I'm going to get some comments saying, oh, he's not actually in this book, he's actually in this. But if I'm able to remember, I'm happy. But gosh, I think there's also a maze involved too. So there's enough uniqueness to this that pushes me over to like, yeah, I kind of get the vibe of this. But the fact that it also kind of feels like a babysitting book is kind of a letdown, but still I understand why. But I'm also happy where I put it. Next up, we have Solix. Solix, the Deadly Swarm. I like the creepy atmosphere of this book where they're trying to encounter the ant hive. Yeah, okay, Seth is in the book, I was right. So, yeah, that's also a plus. Creepy atmosphere of Solix, always a plus. Part of series, again, the Siege of Willow, not the best series. I like the beast, but they can form into the giant creature. And an ant isn't a beast you wouldn't suspect to see, so the uniqueness of it does put it as high as it can. And speaking of uniqueness, we have Helion, the Fiery Foe. Again, concept of a fire man, a man made of fire, a bit more destructive compared to Solix. It wasn't the best executed, but the fact it was able to pose an intimidating threat and do some destruction is a plus. And I'm going to use the phrase plus probably a lot, but even if I repeat myself, I don't mind. I'm getting through this. I'm doing something big, even if it's me repeating much, but I'm still happy with what I'm saying. Soara, the Stinging Spectre. A good concept of a unique creature fighting in. Battle Beast could have done it a bit better. Sorry, Adam, I know it's not a fight you don't hear me talk about much. But regardless, I like the Jelly Dome. I like that it has a ship inside it, the whole concept covered. Part of Series 18, another series I find engaging. So how these two warriors are going to take out this beast. So there is enough anticipation that drags me in a bit more. Griff, the Feathered Fiend. Putting it above Soara. Of course, we'll get this out of the way. Yes, Adam, I could see the reference to Shen in there. Part of a bad series, but I think it does help with what it was given. The wing-tip daggers is a plus. Introduction of a alright series per se, not the best. But I think it does help it saving its grace with what it can do. And I'm so happy where I put it. Above that, we have Falra, the Snow Phoenix. I like the concept of a different type of phoenix there going against it. It is a bit more, I found it more of a powerful threat compared to Griff, and I think that's why I put it where it is. Not much to say about it. It is part of a mediocre series, but I'm still happy where I put Falra. I wouldn't say it's like a go-to read. Everything above this wouldn't be like a go-to read for me. When we get to like maybe some go-to reads, I'll let you know. Krytor, the Bloodbat. I like the concept of the beast. Okay, conception alone is going to keep it up. But you have the two characters hunting a giant bat in what I remember was a village. So that creepy atmosphere was a plus. It was kind of a weakish fight. It was well contained and handled, but I think they did as best as they could with it. Creepy design plus. Part being Series 18 is also a plus. And the competition factor does play its key role in there. And of course, you have the mystery arc of, and also that Krytor did introduce. Yeah, it was the introduction to Series 18, and all that was going to happen. So there you go. Above that, we have Wrathcore, the Stem-Heating Brute, which is above Falra as well, which is good for it. Introduces Series 14 of the Darkness. It doesn't introduce abilities where I wish. Why does Wrathcore do this more often? Because he starts trying to poison one of the was it the Twin Beasts? I think it was. So the concept alone of poisoning one of the Twin Beasts is a nice concept, and that'll be later on used for the finale. So the mysterious build-up of Series 14 helped it out. The beast fight was pretty average at best. Just you go to the top of the mountain, fight the beast. But I think the concept of the dark, of a corrupted twin piece of Volantio helped save its grace. So there was that. Quark the Stone Dragon. This Series 19, I want to give you a reread. This does introduce the series but it does hold the Beast down. It doesn't do much per se. Quark has made his saving grace in Battle of the Beasts, but from what I remember of Series 19, it's a series that just comes out as bare bones. With that being said, though, the next two books should be Korvax the Sea Dragon, and of course, Vetrix the Poison Dragon. I'll go in brief. I like the water concept more with Korvax. It is more better curious about the beasts. The Poison Dragon is even more of a threat, so I'm putting it there. So I haven't got much to say about Series 19 apart from You Know Who. It's a series I need to reread to have more faith and love for it. But I'm still thankful I'm still able to give it as high as I could. And I'm still happy with the decision of what the order I gave for those three. Sepron the Sea Serpent. Nostalgia plays a big factor. It does have restrictions, of course, with what was given with Sepron's restraints and the animals kind of being a leverage at that early on in the series. But I'm still going to give it. I like the underdog approach of what Tom. He was still new to the series of Beast Quest, and he still was able to turn the tide, as it were. So the underdog factor is a plus. The design, of course, is also a plus as well. Speaking of pluses, Petrok the Stone Warrior. I like that. Yeah. There we go. I like that with Petrok, of course, we have a beast. You didn't think much, but the jungle atmosphere vibe also gives it a interesting atmosphere. I like going into it. The fight wasn't the best per se, but well executed. I like the Aztec fight. It just kind of reminds me of a mix of a Scooby-Doo villain I've seen and the monkey vibes are there too. More well executed in Battle of Beasts. You did a great job with it, Adam. When you watch this, I don't know, but it was, and I like the concept. And while the fight wasn't the best, I think unique for me, of course, that is always a plus to help win the fight over. Being part of the finale of series Guardians of Tangala, one of the earliest, one of the newest series. Not the most saving of graces, but I'm still happy where I wasn't expecting to get as high as he did. Pyrano the Water Dragon. Well, I like that it can fly, even though you didn't expect it to. So it is, and it is cool to see a prehistoric beast come back based on Cretaceous out of Ice Age 2. I could be wrong with that. It is kind of a powerful threat. It does look intimidating. It is fighting. I forget Myandra. So it's got some uniqueness. The fight didn't go as well in depth per se, but the uniqueness of any sort of thing, any sort of beast does put its way through. And it was more destructive than Petrok was. There's that. Got a chat so far. Above Pyrano is Leptica, a creepy concept of the beast that can hypnotize and try and get into your head. Nocturnal Nightmare. I like that it's one of the other bandits that has to be defeated. So there was some unique aspects, and it is kind of. It feels like to me like it's a better version of Bloodbat with the whole where the location was, from what I remembered. Crotax, part of Series 23, one of the better series, in my opinion. I do enjoy how chaotic the fight was, per se. It is more of a better executed version of Tusk, and while Tusk, of course, is above this, because of reasons I'll get to, I still was happy how it was handled, and it does look more intimidating than Tusk, also that. So, and being more destructive is also a plus for me as well when it comes to certain things. Beast Quest. Next we have Shamani. There we go. Shamani, the Raging Flame. One of the Knights of Photon. It's not the best knight per se, but the fiery concept, pushing Tom around, not the best per se, but it did well execute its intentions for what it was given. Same with Noctilla, the Death Owl. Introduction of Series 10. the beginning, of course, concept of what Tom has to face is a plus. What he has to go up against. And I think I did enjoy Noctilla more than I did the Panther Beast. So I'm happy where I'm putting them so far. Finale of series, The Broken Star, is, of course, Sorex. A bit of a power fight between the villain and the beast at play going on. A lot of things happening at once. I believe Jing died in this. I could be wrong. But I think that it was more chaotic helped it out. And it's not the most memorable finales, but there was a lot going down that had to be resolved. And I like that. Well, a lot of plot points were thrown at you. Creepy atmosphere comes again with Revira, the ruler of the underworld. I like that they go down to a dark cave or like place to fight this mysterious ruler of all these Varkules. And while the beast is not the most powerful, the fact the creepy atmosphere does have its way to pull it through as far as it could, and that's as best as it's given me. Following it up with Chiropta, the skeleton eagle. Very powerful. There are some nitpicks I have this book. Why didn't the hero do something when they had the chance to control the beast? But that said, it was destructive. It was a powerful threat that did destruction. And the story had its moments of finality, even though the villain got away. I feel like I'm still happy I put it where it was. Solax, so like the Scourge of the Sea, introduction of series 12. Powerful threat. It's unique to see a shark beast. The concepts were unique per se, with a lot being thrown at you. Just wasn't executed thanks to future books as it progressed. Okako, the Sand Monster. I like that it's hard to kill. It did take some kind of unique creativity on Tom's part to find a way to take it down. So there is that strength alone. And I think placing it where it was is as good as it's going to get. Merc the Swamp Man. Unique concept. A sludge monster. And of course, thanks for reminding us, Jack, about its unique ability of hypnosis that we've slipped on. I like how brutal it seems, and it does prove to be a powerful threat. The swamp is also a unique location, and is part of Series 6, one of the better series. Right. Kreta, yeah. Kreta, the Winged Terror. Thank you, Adam, for boosting this book's reputation up as much as you have. Over time, I've grown more fond of it, thanks to Battle of the Beasts. Story alone is kind of slow building pace, but I liked it while it was given, and I'm happy where I placed it. There's not much to say because when I get to the great ones or like the higher ups, I'll have more to say. For these ones alone, I don't per se until I get to the later ones. But we're slowly getting through the ones that less intrigue me to the ones that do. And while I don't have much to say about Kreta, I am still happy where I put it, and she is as good as. I feel like I would enjoy these books more on a reread, so I'm still happy where I'm placing them so far. Yakarix, the Ice Bear. I like the concept of the Winter Wonderland taking over. The giant polar bear fight in like an ice castle is also a unique plus. Special that is a bit underrated in my opinion, and I deserves to get more love. The design of the bear is also a powerful threat, so a lot going for it. And it does feel like an adventure story I would reread. I've got 2 or 3 books left on this pile. Above that, we have Akira the Crusher. Another fallen hero that you feel sorry for. That alone builds it up as best as you can. Part of a mediocre series, the Isle of Ghosts, but there are some benefits of the Isle of Ghosts that make it intriguing. So I give it credit for that. Next up, we have Zoolock, the Winged Spirit. More sympathetic points here with the mother having her egg, and you just wants to get back to protect her baby. So a lot of understanding motives there. Introduction of the series of the Isle of Ghosts. Stakes are high. Final book we have is Score the Winged Stallion. the fact that we know what Steph's going to become, he's doing his best for his final attempts to win Malvel's favor over, does help win it some extra points, and I'm happy where I'm placing it. Well, the Beast didn't have a great fight. I think the story points have pushed it forward as best as it could. Foron the Living Storm is up next. I do enjoy already an hour in. I do enjoy how kind of brutal this fight went, how powerful the force was. It just wasn't well executed per se. But it was nice to have a unique concept for a nice change, and I'm happy with that. And that's most of these books as it is. Next along is Nixa. Nixa the Deathbringer. This one, I like the concept, of course. Concept comes a lot of a shape-shifting beast. It is slow, but it does use its alternate forms to kind of make up for that. It could have been more used in better ways, but for what it was, the concept alone puts as far as it can. Foron, while it was more destructive, I think the mysterious aspect of Nixa was more intriguing to me. Rest in peace, Madara, the Midnight Warrior. Part of Series 7, a great series, The Lost World, puts it as high as it can, and I'm looking forward to rereading this series, because there are elements of each beast that are all enjoyable. Even Hellion, yes, I do find enjoyment in that. Even though poor Madara is where he is. The respect I have for Madara has grown, thanks to Adam, and I think putting it there is a serviceable position. Tusk the Mighty Mammoth. I like the uniqueness of the bond that everyone has to help pitch in to help beat this beast, because Tom doesn't only ask for help, but the fact that he has to is a nice dramatic, and it does kind of raise the stakes of Series 3, because before it was him alone has to take care of this, but when you bring in the people, that's another masses, and that's always a plus. Raises the stakes, and that's a nice turnaround. I know Adam originally had problems with Tusk, but he can understand why I would put it as high as I can for story purposes. Luna the Moonwolf, another underrated gem. I like the concept. It's just the mother trying to protect her cubs, as we've seen with Zulok. I felt something about this felt me more sorry for the cubs than I did with Zulok. I don't know why, but it always did. Maybe because it was the first one that introduced the whole baby concept in my mind. You could argue that question, because there are certain things that were playing a factor in here and there. Overall, though, I like the viciousness of the wolf and the campfire setting. Something about it had an intriguing feeling to me that pushed me in. Right. Next up, we have Elec the Lightning Horror. Powerful electric eel beast. I like how powerful it became as it progressed through, and it took Tom a good idea to kill it. Part of Series 7, once again, always a strength note, and it was a very brutal fight. Still happy I put it. Balisk v Water Snake. Oh, that reminds me. Since we're on the topic of, you know what, I'm going to save this for the end. There's something I had to remind myself. I've got it here, but I will address that topic at the very end of this video. But yeah, the Water Snake. I like the introduction of Series 8. While it does have some issues, the concept of introducing the mysterious flying ship and the beast guarding it, the stakes high, Wizard Adro being, in a way, turn against it in a way. So there were a lot of intriguing things that made Balisk and the introduction of Series 8 going to a positive light. Larnak, the Swarming Menace, is up next. Part of the Series 22 arc, it was a more creepy type of creature of what was given. So there was some elements alone that pushed it as hard as it can. The fight was back and forth, engaging. Rykar the Firehound, it was more dangerous, and it did jump and do things it didn't expect it to do, but the fact that the stakes were so high at the end of this series did not win us over, and there was some developments for the villain as well. Quagos the Armored Beetle, a much better version of Bloodboar. I like the giant stag beetle threat, and how Tomato kind of used its ways around it. It felt like a more or less fattening version of Bloodboar, better executed. in my opinion. Lost Door, the Acid Dart, one of the more intimidating knights and a more powerful threat. Did really great in Battle of Beast. Thank you, Adam. And it did develop the story of the knights. So while each knight was going one by one, I wouldn't say until this guy showed up, the knights got more interesting. So good stuff there for you, Lustor. Scalax, the Snapping Horror, the Enkylo / Lizard / Crocodile, well, the Enkylo / Crocodile hybrid. Always a powerful threat. Has been used in great Battle of Beast tournaments. Well utilized. Did prove quite a challenge for Tom because normally the armor beasts are kind of hard to take down. So unique location was also a plus. Part of series, part of the same series that Rykar was in. Not the best, but I do like the concept of that type of these intriguing designs. Technos, the Ocean Crawler, a bit slow, but the fact he's fighting a kaiju is always a good plus. Part of Series 26, one of the more higher stakes series. I think that's why I pushed it forward. It was more destructive than Scalax, so that's why it's as far as it can go. Skrull, the Night Scavenger, more destructive, more powerful than, I think, and it did have a lot, kind of a Chimera Beast. Part of the Sorcerer's Revenge, more higher stakes story. I'm happy where I put it. It was a bit more destructive too, so like I said, so I'm happy where I got it. By Izara, the Horned Dragon. I like the concept of the dragon's ability to age people with power. It wasn't well utilized, but the fact it was able to go a bit more in depth with it as it progressed was enough to put its points as far as it can. I know it's next. Yeah, it is. Temper of the Time Stealer. I like the concept of traveling in time. And while it isn't the best fight for the beast, because the beast is at the end, the fact that Tom has to go for a time travel story and all that is intriguing to see what happens. So I like that. Varrak the Storm King. The death of Sanpeo, more an introduction of Rhea's power taking over throughout the series of Beast Quest. I like the concept of Varrak the Storm King. He is a more powerful lobster compared to its counterpart we talked about prior. And I think it deserves to be where it does. When you have a book that more impacts the characters and the future of what Beast Quest will be, yeah. Vigarash the Clawed Eagle. I think this is where we're starting to get to the turn of where we get to the good ones now, because I think we got to the time ones, and then Varrak. Yeah, we're starting to get into the more, I can see that you're going that. Vigarash is also the introduction of Tom's dad being a bad guy or having negative traits. Talon is not a bad guy. He has done bad things. And these beasts will acknowledge that while they were taken down so cruelly. So you do feel sorry for Vigarash, kind of more than you do Raptex. Pretty much you do. So the fact that this book introduces plot points that will later be exploited is a plus. And you're affecting, and the reason why it's above the one I talked about prior, Varrak, is because it affects Tom, and that's our hero. So I like that plus. Flamemaw, the Scorched Blaze, the concept alone of the beast being resembled of the main villain is an ego thing and a fun ride. It does have restrictions, but I like how the villain's own ego gets brought into play in the fight. It's a fun one. Plexor, the Raging Reptile, one of Adam's awesome ones. Adam did boost its reputation. It got as high as I could give it. It did have a bit of a break between the fight, and it did pick up its pace when it needed to. Part of the Belmont's Revenge, one of the series that me and Adam like, because of some beasts. 3 out of the 4 beasts are awesome. So overall, I'm happy where I put it. Voltrex, the 2-headed octopus. It's more destructive than Plexor from what I remembered, so I'm happy where it's going. The concept of the night fight, Sephiron getting involved, there was a lot of more grinder stakes than Plexor had to offer. And I know why Adam loves Plexor, but I hope you can understand why I would put Voltrex above it, given what I've explained. And of course, Series 10 is kind of more of a higher stakes series than Series 15 is to me personally. Dolorous, the Spike Destroyer. I'm happy where I put it. I don't have much to say about it per se, but what I will say is it does prove to be a powerful threat. Has done well about the beast. It does resemble the Ice Age villain, Captain Gut, with the face a bit, and his fat crew member. I like how they were able to incorporate a walrus into a fight and how destructive it became. And it is my favorite of that series. Granted, I think that is the last of that series. So I'm happy how far it's gotten, and I hope it proves to do better. So I'm looking forward to that. Well, so far we're caught up. Next up, we have Falcor the Coil Terror. A more powerful threatening of a snake beast. It was very vicious and wouldn't give up, so it does prove its limits. So Adam also did boost his reputation up as much as he could. It is a story I would like to reread again. Next, we have Koron, the Jaws of Death. We're starting to get into those destroying those weapons of death now. Powerful threat. This one did put Tom to his paces and was about to. It felt a very brutal fight too. So I'm happy where I put it. It's very strong, very engaging. I like it. Pederix Wing Slicer, just up the scales a bit, take it to the sky. More of what it could do. The depth is kind of pretty weak, but still, I liked how dangerous it got as long as it lasted. Selkara, Monster of the Depths. Another one that more destructive bandits prove its peak in Battle of the Beasts. And was able to hold its own. It's very like a big wrestling type beast underwater. Like how it went. Merkur the Ice Horse. Another hard beast to take down. It was very resilient. Was able to prove quite a powerful threat and what it could do with restrictions in the fire breath and all that. I like how it went. Very engaging. And it is part of series 12. Not the best series, but it does hold its own for what it can. Lycaxa, Hunter of the Peaks. I'm happy how I put it. It does have its place. A strong position of Battle of the Beasts has put it as far as it can. It was probably the high point of the Printing Kingdom, going with what it was. I think it did earn its place. It did kind of get a power. It did get this beast does get powerful deaths in both the series and Battle of the Beasts. So well executed. And speaking of executed, who better than its executioner, Warlock the Sky Terror? Yeah, you figure I placed this really high, but no. But I'm happy where I placed it. A bit above Warlock, maybe a bit of bias due to how it got. But still, at the same time, it introduced us to Series 15, a more engaging series compared to the Prison Kingdom and returning Malville and how it was established. So based on the story points alone, I think it's understandable where you have an engaging fight of a well-established villain return who you should be very much annoyed with, because given their history about Freya, I can understand why it should deserve to be above Lycaxa. So I'm happy where it's going. Draka, the Winged Serpent, powerful threat, prove very destructive in Battle of the Beasts. It's a monstrous threat that I'm curious to see how it's curious to see how it's going to go. I wonder if it's Freya there. I could be wrong, because I need to read this book when I get the chance. Oh, it's Queen Aroa, I think. But regardless, it's very powerful and destructive, and I like to reread it again. I do. So it does intrigue me, and I'm happy putting it above Warlock is pretty surprising to me, but I'm still sticking to that statement. I'm happy how it is. It's really the creeping menace, the creepy atmosphere puts it as high as it can. Part of the Darkest Hour. It's one of the more higher points, and it's curious to see how the fight progresses. Slivka, the Cold-Hearted Curse. Lord of the Rings kind of vibes going with this beast design. It is more of a unique, monstrous threat. Higher stakes of the Warrior's Road. It does start to peak, going to more of a peakish state there. So you're curious to see how things are going to go. Spyros, the Ghost Phoenix. The seventh beast of Avantia. Raises the stakes, brings all the beasts together. Introduces Sephrina, I believe. And you're not really fighting Spyros. It's more of its Dark Shadow counterpart, and you have to kind of reverse the spell. So there is more of some intriguing elements that put it as high as it can. Arcano, the Stone Crawler. Powerful threat. The introduction of this story, like introducing this statue of this creature, and it goes on a rampage in the castle, was very engaging. I liked how it went down. I would like to reread this book for the fun of it. It's one of those fun ride books like Spyros's. But I put it above Spyros because I think it was more of an engaging story. Even though the whole concept of Spyros, something about Arcano, the vibe of it being in a contained area was more of a creepy atmosphere to me, whereas Spyros' fight was more of an open fight, so there was more of a leeway to work around things. Regardless, it was a toss-up between those two books for which one to go where it was. Zephyr the Monster Squid is up next. Introduction of Series 2 puts as high as it can. Yeah, the fight is kind of near, but I like the return of Malville's first return. It's very fun adventure vibes, and it is, of course, a reread. when you get to it. Alcyron, the Fleshless Killer, is up next. I'm happy with this. It is one of the more creepier skeleton beasts. The fog ability is useful for the jackal skeleton creature. High stakes, not the best series, but I think Constantine pushes as far as he can. Skurrik, the Forest Demon. I did not know this thing hunted children until I had to remind me of that factor. Have a dark introduction to the series. Very creepy beast. You're very intimidated to see how things are going to go. The stakes are higher than they've ever been at that point. Well, I won't say it higher as they've ever been. I mean, they have been high, great, but the dark atmosphere is a real plus to it. I've almost finished with pile 3. We've got 5 piles. After this pile, we've got 3 left, so we're almost through. Ospira, the Savage Sorceress, holding Baby Tom Ransom, the creepy sorceress vibes. It is very engaging to see how chaotic things are getting. So you can slowly see how my list is starting to get more engaging on the stories as we go. Speaking of engaging stories, Okawa the River Beast is up next. First you had the baby in danger, then we have one of Tom's relatives in danger and turning into a monster, and it's up to Tom to free him from that curse. So appreciate that. I like it when it gets more personal. Next up, we have Scalamanx the Fiery Fury. This is where Petra and Tom's and Eleanor's relationship was a bit wishy-washy. Like, can we trust you? Can we not? And we have this powerful threat beast coming to break in the mold. Chaos all at once. Love how things progressed. Next up, we have Naga, the Sea Monster. Deception in the Ranks, Dark Kingdom, Pop Series 3. A very engaging story, and I'm happy where I put it. Trying to rescue Eleanor from those bandits, and it turns into a big monster brawl. Gets chaotic as it goes. Lupix, the Ice Wolf, boosted up as Battle of the Beasts. Introduction of a alright series, but the stakes were very engaging. And above that, one step below is Calderon, the Iron Bear. I do enjoy this book. The protagonist is very weak and pathetic, and he does need help from Tom, of course. They are new projectors. I like the beast can grow bigger with metal absorption, go stronger, puts our hero to the peaks, and he does find an obvious way, but yet creative way to beat the beast. And it's a nice opener for the new one of the nice openings with new projectors. Skolo, the Bladed Monster, one of my favorite plots of Senpeo, going into a cave to recruit a beast, and then chaos happens inside, darkness and all that creepy atmosphere, naming the kid beast and all that, and all those unique elements come to play. I do like the creepiness and the stakes that are involved. Going into a cave, finding a beast, they constantly intrigue me, and I think it was a nice change for Senpeo's typical schemes that he came up with. Haraksaw, the Firehawk, useful ability. From what I remember, I don't remember this beast being able to use its power. Adam says it did, from what I remembered he was saying. But I know he did justice on Battle of Beasts. And overall, I did enjoy this book. And I'm curious to see, in a reread, how it impacts me again. So stakes are pretty high there. Next along, we have came on the Gorgon Hound. Arguably one of the best of Series 3. It does flip-flop to me, which is the best per se. This is probably the more brutal fights. And it does put our hero through his paces, so that is always a plus. But of course, we have, you can see who's going to be up later. Vislak, the Slithering Serpent, the story I've always loved of the thief going through a kind of a thievish path and learning a lesson. It is an interesting vibe. The location is great with the sand and the snake. But not the best series it's in, but I do like this. As an individual read, I find that me personally interesting. Fang the Bat Fiend is up next. I love this book. As a solo read, it's also great. It's a book I would happy to pick off the shelf as well to reread. I like that you can go through the mine shaft and he has to go rescue the slaves from this creature, beat it in a unique way, flood the mine. From what I remember, it's flooding the mine shaft, and it got very fun. It's very fun and enjoyable, and I would love to put it up higher, but the fact I got it as high as I did, I'm happy with. Arax, the Soul Stealer, the dark version of Tom, comes into play. And then he's got to fight this gargoyle-like creature assassin beast. I think it's in by Mal. It is. Yeah, the Malville's involved with this. So the fact that he hires a personal assassin type beast intrigues me because there's different types of beasts that can do different things and jobs for him. And the fact a dark version of Tom is involved does help. So there's a lot of intrigue in there for me. That puts it as it can. Jurog, Hammer of the Jungle, is up next and does raise the stakes for an engaging, powerful fight. Puts our hero to the limits. One of the best monkey beasts ever. Part of one of the best series. And it does its job well, guarding up that timber, if you call it. 6 arms, also a great threat. And I think also a beast got involved in this fight. Overall, I do enjoy how it puts our hero to its paces. Tagus the Horseman, another fight that puts our hero through his paces. And it does really drive Tom through the dirt to try and take control of the fight. So I'm happy how brutal it was. And it was, I think why I put it above Jurog is because it was probably a nostalgia also is a plus too. But that's why I like when Tom is more, when he's an underdog, he's got more stakes on the line. Nasefa the Cursed Siren. The finale, the beast being on the ship as it flies away, the stakes are high, gets the creepy atmosphere, plus the finale of that series, the villain also gets in there too. The stakes are high, her plan is so close to being complete. It's all chaos and it's fun ride. Cresto the Crushing Terror. Thank you, Adam, for making Battle of the Beast as awesome as you did. You did improve this beast's reputation for me, and it got as far as it could. I would love to put it higher, but their stories just impact me differently. And the fact that this book was able to do that alone on its first read was awesome. And I'm looking forward to rereading this to further understand your love for this creature. So overall, greatness. I'm happy where I put it for now, until it changes my mind again. Above that, we have Victor the Deadly Archer. This thing was persistent, another assassin type like beast. And even though it loses some of its parts, its horse and its helmet, I believe, it still keeps on going. It keeps persisting Tom, and it gets to a more brutal fight in the end in this tight corner. I like how it progresses naturally. It does feel like a hunter hunting, so I do like that. Carixa the Diamond Warrior. Surprisingly, she's above Wardog, which I was surprised. But the fact that it was the concept alone of wrapping up the competition, wrapping up with the final beast who was tough as diamond, had this unique ability, and the reveal, those story elements alone will push it above Wardog. I do love Wardog and introduces that series, but I think the finale fight was very engaging to me, and it did win me over. Speaking of finale fights, Vespic the Wasp Queen's up next. Very powerful, very engaging, put Tom to the peak of its health, to his limit, and he did get the potion in the end by winning off against the final Bug Queen and taking back the Empire from that evil tyrant. Fun battle, loved it. So another good reread, I would happily say. Stritor the Skeleton Dragon up next. Another powerful threat, earned its place, put Tom again to another peak of his limits, and I think it was a more dangerous fight than what Vespic had to offer, so that's why I'm happy where it's going. Above that, we've got Spikefin the Warder King. The reason why this book is above Strider is for the character development. Obviously, where it's, I believe, the start of Petra's turn from what she's doing. So I like that. And the fact that Thomas to make a decision, I could go and stop the villain, but if I do, this guy, he's going to put some people in danger. I can't risk that, so he has to change his course. And he has to go and save this guy. And Spikefin alone is a creepy design of a creature. So there's a lot of interesting development choices for our hero, as well as the change of heart for the henchgirl. Carnivore, the Winged Scavenger up next. Great finale fight. This was flip-flopping me on decision where to place this book because of how much stake was on the line. All of these come together, fighting a big grand fight against Malville's forces. Awesome. It does kind of go like an endgame thing before endgame was a thing. So overall, big stakes alone, put as high as you can. Greatness. Above that, we have Torgor the Minotaur. Introduction to Series 3, a dark concept series. I do love my Minotaur. It's a bit biased there where I put it. But the fact we have Underdog Tom going in for Series 3, finally going to Malville's Kingdom, big concepts alone that do intrigue me. I do go back. Carnivore and Torgor were hard to pick, which I was going for. I think the nostalgia paid off. So when I reread Series 7 again, I'm looking forward to how it's going to impact me. Speaking of impact, Arachnid is up next. King of Spiders. Dark concept alone, creepy imagery. The Spider Beast alone is intimidating. High stakes. Series 2, one of the more engaging series. It does redeem Nanik for a better fight. I do like all the creepy concepts in there. So overall, a lot going for it that does win its place as best as it can. Crab Master of the Sea, Series 5, arguably one of my favorite series ever. Introducing the mysterious Freya, the villain Velmal, and what's going on here with all these beasts and how can we fix it. Mysterious concept, a giant powerful threat like Crab doesn't really do as much as you'd like, but the big stakes were established high, so bigness there. Following that up with Hawkeye, of course. It does further develop the Freya arc of who she is and all the identity stuff. The beast being in the sky, a bit more of what we could do, so I think Hawkeye did prove a bit more of a challenge. Koldo, the Arctic Warrior, again, progressing the Freya saga, the Shade of Death, as it is. And what exactly is the Shade of Death? Is the Shade of Death supposed to be Freya? Or I don't think that's the case. So I'm wondering what it means by the Shade of Death. Feel free to let me know in the comments. But Koldo, the Arctic Warrior, interesting change with the villain. The beast is tied up for a change. And you're wondering how he got there. Was it all staged, planned? And that goes into a fan decision by other people. I think it's mentioned in the book it was all staged and planned by Freya. Could be wrong with that. I need to reread it as I go. And I will probably reread this series. So, but when it breaks out, it does have an engaging fight. It doesn't really have much to do per se, but once it gets beaten down, there are some elements that do kind of further the story for the Freya stuff that we have. Rock, the Walking Mountain. This is when the story started to really raise its peak. It's the first introduction, I believe, to some sort of clue to who Freya could possibly be. And that alone is a high stake. So that's why it's above the one of prior Series 5 books. And then you have the Rock is a hard beast to beat, being made out of rock. So it does have a powerful threat that is more engaging than the Arctic Warrior. So I think putting it where as I could is best as I can. Sultra, the Stone Charmer, creepy atmosphere. Tom's personal village is on the line. He's got to go and rescue his friends. A mysterious voice is trying to seduce him to a terrible fate, but he's able to overcome it. And it is well set up with the dark atmosphere. I do like how it gives Tom I think it's one of Tom's personal threats. And it does feel like an assassin beast too. Malek's the Silent Stalker, another powerful threat. Being a well-executed Hydra design, I do like how it is. It just reminds me of one of the classic Hercules creatures with the design of it. And part of Series 26. Yeah, the Four Masters. I'm happy how it was well portrayed and how the trial of this creature went going down. Big stakes, more destructive than what Sultra was. That's why it's above. Speaking of nostalgia, Inferno has reached its peak at this high. I'm happy with how it's got. It has proved great Battle of Beast. Nostalgia has paid off its role very nicely, and it's gone as high as it can. So, introducing the Beast Quest stuff to all of us, I'm happy where it's placing. The fight, of course, for Inferno wasn't the best, but overall, I think it does as great as it can. Lucor, the Forest Demon, more of a powerful fight, engaging, defeating Malvel. Of course, referencing the Lynxie series with Lucor and all that stuff. It's got a. I know my friend Adam said that there was so much coincidences to me that it felt like they must know who I am. I didn't know that was the case, but who knows? Anything's possible. But there are so many links to me in this alone. It's awesome. I like it. I know on reread I'm going to enjoy it even more. So happy with that, where I put it. And it does more catchy too. So how much more can they get to me? Next along we have Chiron, Lord of Fire. I like the fact that we have the main villain fused with the finale beast to create a powerful threat. There are some little plot points and issues, though overall it is a high engaging threat, and I do enjoy it. Very high stakes. Same with Lucor, but I think Chiron's more destructive. Kyrax, the Metal Warrior. I like the concept of this beast being made of a liquid metal and having possibly the powers of the Golden Armor because it was able to absorb Tom's blood per se in its creation. And it was trying to go for its identity crisis of finding its place. So I do like a lot of that concept, and bringing back the minor villain Igor to get his revenge is a nice follow-up for the Series 11 stuff. Ferric the Iron Soldier. This thing is a powerful threat, wanting its army to take over and starting a new reign of species. It is a powerful, like, symbiotic creature that wants not just himself to win, but his team to win. And the fact it's able to get more and more victims to get stronger each one is a powerful piece. I do like it. I would love to reread it too. The fact it's above Kyrax, I think, is because he has more. It felt like a more bigger threat to me than Kyrax. Grashkor the Beastful Guard. This was another classic story for me. It was able to become so destructive that the whole kingdom broke down, really. So the fact that the stakes were as high as they were, and Tom was with a character that he didn't know much about because he had to rescue Eleanor, very high stakes and very rereadable, I would say. Above that, we have Raksha the Mirror Demon. Concept of fusing all of the original 6 pieces together, high stakes to get revenge. I do enjoy it. I do enjoy how powerful threat this thing is. So many, and it does absorb the tokens of the shields, so big threats, and the way Tom was able to beat it was pretty unique. We have only one pile left of books, really. Tyrantix the Bone Spider. I like that it involved Tom's. This creepy spider shows up. Part of the Neverworld arc. My Marvel's personal plans to go a bit more. I'm gonna, get more emotional stuff. Damage there. Going after the king's son. He wants to go and rescue him, and high stakes involved with this creature with the spider. Very creepy, very powerful, and the stakes do seem to be rising as this series as that series progressed. Above that is Sting the Scorpion Man. You feel very tragic for his downfall after so many attempts to beat Tom in many fights. He finally gets turned into a beast. His fate is unknown, and though the World Book Day book going to Jack does give you answers on him and his sister, if you consider that book canon or not, debatable. But regardless, I think that was more of a fan thing, but who knows. I still enjoy the concept of Sting's turn to the Steph's turn to the dark side of a terrible fate, and how the stakes did progress into the emotional stuff and the high stakes of the fight, how it progressed, was fair. Trolion, the three-headed lion, where all the classic characters are able to beat this beast down, even some of the good beasts. I think it was Tagus, I forget who. Regardless, everyone seemed to chip in this to beat this creature, and they leave a great finale end of, ooh, what's to come for the future. I would happy to reread that story in Series 2. Always a plus. Lipeda, the Shadow Fiend, highest stakes there for the villain. He's about to achieve his master plan. He releases the Moth Beast. It's finally defeated. Portal of Beasts, Mal is going to take over. One final fight between our villain and hero, and of course it leads with Marvel's ultimate a temporary demise of the day. So high stakes. I'm happy where I put Lipeda. Epos the Flamebearer, the finale of Series 1, where we're first introduced to Malvel, and he tries to explain that he took some dark scrolls from Tom's dad. Didn't exactly say that, but he implies that O'Talon might be not as good as you've seen, which is also foreshadowing for Series 12. So there are some plot points that were further established that were developed on. And Epos is a great beast, showing it right at the beginning. Powerful threat. You've got to get all the people involved. High stakes. Tom has to fight the bad guy alone. And the underdog there, very high. And it just goes to show why Beast Quest Series 1 is as popular as it can be. It's not the best series, but it does have its elements that inspired it to make more series as it went. It deserves all the love it has. Gargantua, the Silent Assassin, one of the more intimidating, powerful threat beasts. It's really improved itself as a temptation ring of darkness. And it does try to lure multiple people. The 3 subjectual beasts alone are alright. Caridin is a very intimidating villain, I'll give him that. And when Gargantua likes to kind of changes her plan as it goes. So overall, I do like the finale, and it does take different twists and turns that impacted me. Zircon, I'm calling him that now. The Shape Stealer. Didn't know it's King Angel to the end. High stakes. Hugo comes to that revelation. We come to that revelation. Powerful fight goes down. Big revelation. It just goes a ruckus all over the castle until it's finally taken down. So high stakes overall, and I did enjoy it. Torpix, the Twisting Serpent. The villain is weak on the brink of death. He has to absorb this dark power. He's fighting the hero, but then suddenly a mysterious beast shows up. Oh no, another beast in this realm? That's impossible. Didn't see that coming, and it goes whole chaos realm. Eventually, Malvel gets trapped into the eternal flame, and I forget how this beast gets taken out. Either it gets slayed, or it just like, no, I've done my job, going back and we'll go away now. But I think overall, big high stakes for this fight. I do want to reread this. I'm happy I was able to put it so high as it was, thanks to Adam Potter boosting his reputation. Vermok, the Spiteful Scavenger. This was a creepy book. The beast design alone itself was creepy, but then Tom comes across this stranger in this ruined place and tells him about certain things that will lure him onto a dark book yet to come. And we'll get to that right now, actually. So, well, actually, it's not here yet. We're not at it. I thought that was next on my list, but no, it's not. We're not at it yet. So it'll come later on, but you know what I'm talking about. So, but I think Vermok alone, for its creepy foreshadowing what's to come, also boosts its reputation along with the creepy rat. But above Vermok, we have, you can see, Convol, the Cold-Blooded Brute, introduction of Series 7, high stakes. I do love Carnivore, I do, but I think there's some a bit of my emotional elements, and the introduction of the what the hell's going on here more shocked me than the finale fights. And like, Malvel's in charge now, and we gotta do all this, so we gotta take care of all these problems. So I think the more greater surprise for me was more of the shock of the introduction than the finale fight. I do think Series 7 is a really awesome series. It just depends what part of it intrigues you more. So I'm happy where I got Convol. And above Convol is Silva. Yeah, I wasn't expecting this to happen, but my original number 2 of Beast Quest has now become this spot. Not the best at all. We still have it by one. I can't make out there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe roughly a handful of books left though. But yeah, I do love this book. I do, and it has kind of fallen a bit because of some stuff. Now I'm looking at other books, and yeah, I do like that Silva has turned to the dark side. A companion that we know and love finally turned to the dark side on Series 9, a series that we do enjoy for how weak the villain is, and he's able to take desperate actions to turn it in. Eleanor and Tom don't want to hurt him. They got to find a way to get him back. The progression of Silver's turn, more feral, awesome, high stakes. So I'm happy where I put it, and I'm surprised it dropped down. I'm surprised that it dropped down for me overall. What's the first book that overtook it? Say hello to More Attacks. High stakes. Everyone is against Tom in this book. Everyone is against Tom. His friends, his beasts, all of them come together. A tournament. Petra's introduced, the villain, rising the skeleton monster from the ground. So high stakes. I can see why my friends Jack and Adam, of course, love it so much. I know he goes back and forth between Torpex. This, I can understand why Jack, I know you're watching. I understand why you put it as high as you do. I really do. I would love to reread this again and again. It deserves the hype. It is awesome. It introduced Battle of the Beasts as well. So many good reasons to love this book. So many hype. So many fan moments of joy. I'd happily reread it, and how Tom is able to turn the tide of battle slowly. Greatness. Always a worth reading. I'm happy. You know what? I'm happy I put it above Silver. I really am. So, what's above that? It's got to be Tecton, the Armored Giant. The Death of Taladon. Pushes Tom's emotional buttons. He defeats the White Knight. He wants to kill him. It comes to his senses. And I think he does. But I know he has to defeat these beasts and they fade away or something. But he is on the verge of doing stuff that he normally wasn't doing. And he slowly progresses to that dark path that his father does not want, which leads him to Doomskull right up next. Doomskull, King of Fear. He brings back the villain. Goes into Malvel's plans, but he's able to turn the tide and remember what the right thing to do is. And Malvel gets his first big defeat. If the Beast Quest series ended here, I would have been happy. Great stakes. Speaking of high stakes, Tremor the Earth Lord is above, revealing who Freya is. A monster fight. Now, granted, I will then it's not as in power. Not everything is against Tom, but I think for me the emotional factor of having his mum be the villain he's been fighting the entire time is more of an emotional shock to me than having all your friends turn. That's just me personally. It all comes down to what impacts your emotions more, and I think this is what is the case. And the fact that we know later on that Tom's not to save her is also a plus. So that's what leads to Amictus. He doesn't save his mom, unfortunately, but he does best as he can. He just make vows to go after her, and he is on that path to make things right. So the high stakes are involved, and I'm happy where I put Amictus. Powerful bug beast, high stakes on the line, and the villain he wants to get payback on. Really? Flugo the Slightless Sliverer. He gave Daltec the win. Dark Tom is established, powerful threat that he is, and up to Elena to lead the charge into battle. So, I like how that arc is progressing. Speaking of that arc, Electro v Stormbird introduces Dark Tom and Rhea once again to Beast Quest. Another high stakes story. Our hero is corrupted by darkness. Finally, is a henchman to Rhea. That will progress throughout the series, a fan-related series that we've all been waiting for. I know Jack is not the biggest fan of it, but he can understand. I'm hopefully he can still. He's got to understand why people love it as they do. And I'm happy where it is going to be. Introducing the Electro Bird is kind of a weakness thing there, but you're more focused on the story than you are the Beast this series, understandably so. And we progress on to Morax, the Wrecking Menace, where we see Dark Tom's turn to remind us of as he's trying to struggle with who he is. He saves the child, he doesn't have to save the child. And we see how he struggles with, I think he goes through a bit of a struggle in that book, but the fact that he's starting to slowly come to terms to who he is gets there. Morax, what do I have to say about him? He's such a powerful threat, hard to kill, nearly unstoppable. It took a lot of great effort to take him down. Above Morax is Koba. We finally get to this guy, Koba, the Ghoul of the Shadows. This guy is he pushes Tom to such a degree in his mind with all his abilities, all his powers, all going at him, and it took Tom's inner strength to take him down. So he's never had, I don't believe at this point, he's never encountered a villain like this before. It really pushed him, and if Beast Quest ended here, it would have been awesome. I wasn't satisfied. Another good ending point. Above that, though, has to be only 2 books left, and of course we know what's next. It's Crowcall. While Koba is an intimidation force that is controlling Tom. This is Tom himself corrupted, turning into a beast. He himself has to fight this darkness. And I think those stakes alone raise it above Koba for me, because it's more of a he has to hit. It's more of him himself, not an evil. That fell. Because he himself is Crowcall and he has to kind of fight it, whereas Koba was more of an evil entity that was also there as well. You can kind of see what I'm trying to get at here. And the fact it was more of him trying to resist this because he has to break this to end the destruction. And I think the more of that emotional struggle he was going through was a bigger thing. And also it was a kingdom destroying beast. Elena was more emotionally involved in here, a lot more high stakes. So overall, I personally think it deserves to be above Crowcall for all the elements alone. And of course, we know what number 1 is. I mentioned it prior, and that is no surprise. That is Jakaro the Ghost Warrior, which I've gushed about this book so many times. I love the Mistress of the Beasts. I love how she's able to contain this dark presence for over a great year of time. She is the hero. Tom is normally the hero. In this case, she is the hero. She saves Tom. They both have a great understanding for each other of what they are. Tom understands everything. Adro's been keeping the secret too. A lot of emotion, a lot of high stakes. It's just my type of book. I love when a book can affect you emotionally. And if this one really did, it has an intimidating beast in different pictures. There are great emotional fights with weight on the line. The beast does die in a very tragic sacrifice where you do feel sorry for how everything went down. A lot of emotion, a lot of impact. It just hits all the right buttons for me. And I don't believe, I could be proven wrong though, that any type of book would ever change my mind about Jakaro being at number 1 of Beast Quest. And until that time, I don't know if it will happen. We'll see what will go down. Overall, though, I know this has been a long-awaited video. People like my friends Adam and Jack have been wanting to see me ranking all the books, all 180 of them. I did do some research to see if that was right. So a good fitting number for the time, and then also fitting time too with the latest series currently read. I don't know if the other guys will also do a ranking on all the books at this point. We shall see. I know they're both busy with other projects and other things in life, but I was able to get all my books down off my shelf, finally do them all, rank them as best as I can. I did kind of go brief and wishy-washy with my notes until I got to the good, strong ones at the end. You could see how I was more engaged as the ranking progressed. And if you stuck along for nearly 2 hours, I appreciate that for all that you have. I don't know if Adam and Jack were able to watch all the way through. I know Jack stuck on by like halfway through, and he's going to reread what came before it. And if you know both everyone here enjoyed, including Jack and Adam, I hope it was a well executed book, extra video for you. I guess I wanted to do a bit something more because I know I missed Adam's birthday, and I also felt like I haven't done much Beast Quest content for a while, so I want to do something really big to make up for it. And I think this is the best you can do, really, just rank all the books that have been released by this point. So overall, that is the target, guys. If I can just show, yep, all those books right there, all ranked. And I'm going to put them all back now, so that's going to be a lot of work for me. My camera might be a bit wishy-washy there. Am I right? Yeah, I'm right. I do wonder how the author. Yeah, I'm going to put up my notes here. So yeah, thank you everyone for stopping by. I really appreciate every single one of you. Hopefully you enjoy this big ranking video. Have a Merry Christmas in the future of what's to come. Both to Adam and Jack, everyone who showed up by. Lots of books indeed. Thank you, Jay. As for my channel, I don't know if it's going to... all I can say is we'll see what happens. LEGO Customs, we will see. Everything on my channel, we will see. It just comes out when it can. So overall, thank you all for watching. Have a Merry Christmas. Have a Happy New Year. All that love, all that passion, everything. I will see you guys for future content later down the line. Peace out.